Well, everything's like hypersensitive.
Just like us.
Two emotional queens. Okay.
Okay, how do we start? Hello and welcome to the Out Scotland podcast. My name is Ryan Catterson.
And mine is Matthew Young.
So, we are here to introduce ourselves, first of all. So we've got a little selection of topics that we're going to touch on today to chat a bit about who we are and what we're doing and why we're doing this and what is motivating us to start this whole thing.
We're just going to chat away about kind of the general reasons why we started this podcast and just have a little gab.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there.
Yes, we will. So the first thing I think maybe we should touch on is like what this actually is, why we're doing this, not only because we want to, but what it's in relation to also. So we are both master's students at Glasgow Caledonian University, which is where we are right now. And we are working together, but also separately to work towards our degree. So we have to do lots of different multimedia style things. And this podcast is going to be one of those things.
Mm-hmm. And I think like we both kind of wanted a project that meant something to us.
Mm-hmm.
And it started over conversations with a bottle of Pinot Grigio, and then she grew and grew into
the bottle of wine.
Yeah. Well, that didn't.
It shrunk and shrunk.
It shrunk and shrunk. But I think we both wanted something that we were passionate about, and especially with everything that's going on in the world at the moment, I think obviously LGBT issues are not going in the direction that I think are good at all, especially in the UK and in America. And I think having conversations and podcasts like this, we thought might benefit people. So I guess that's why we decided to do this.
Absolutely. I think also totally agree with all of that. But the other part for me was about sort of documenting history and archiving things and having a resource that has information from not just now, but from the past. We obviously are going to make it clear that we are both queer individuals. But like growing up, there wasn't necessarily a place to easily find information about the people that came before us and possibly came before them and so on and so on. So I think it is also really important and useful for us to try and find not only the underrepresented voices now, but also all the stories and stuff from the past that is out there across Scotland that maybe don't have a specific place to live.
I think, like, especially with regards to the history side of what this kind of project will be, I think it's also like respect of these people that have come before us and made like living our lives so much easier. And like their experiences were unimaginably tougher.
Yeah.
And I think like covering that and speaking about them is like showing respect to the work and like everything they did by just simply existing as queer individuals. So I think that's also like a really exciting part of this whole project.
Yes. So I guess maybe we should talk a bit about what people can expect in terms of episodes. At the minute, obviously, this one is just a little introductory chat, but I think hopefully what we're looking to do is speak to people, as we've sort of mentioned, in the queer community who are relevant to the queer community, relevant to queer news, relevant to queer history, to sort of create a place for those stories to live, talking about issues that currently face the community, talking about events that are going on, and then also looking at, as I've said, historically, trying to maybe get some people in who have stories about being Scottish or being from Scotland or being in Scotland and being queer or being part of the queer community in some way.
Yeah, I think we're going to obviously be covering current news. I would expect like some kind of more interview-based podcast episodes and general topics of discussion. I think like obviously there will be an episode on the like trans issues at the moment. I think this current stuff, but then as you said, also factoring in some special episodes about history and
Yep.
just going from there really. Yeah.
What I think we should also do is talk a little bit, not to make it about ourselves, but chat a little bit about ourselves and our own experiences being LGBT plus, of course, being in the queer community. Would you like to share?
I'm going first. Hello. This is
Oh, it's serious now.
yeah. I think so. I'm a gay man, and my pronouns are he, him. I also would say probably over the last year, I'm comfortable using the term queer to describe my sexuality. Just because I think it's such a word that just encapsulates how I feel. So I grew up in England. Cue the booze.
No, we jest.
And with two parents from Scotland, so hence the move back here and the slightly funny, weird pseudo accent.
We're not going to talk about our accents. Definitely doesn't need to be done.
And yeah, I kind of, as I was growing up, I was very straight passing and bit of a, like, I don't know, laddish, is that the word? But it sounds quite funny now, but I was
laddish.
I'm a big, I was a big sporty person, and I guess I wasn't that comfortable. And then I came to Scotland, and throughout the years, it's almost been like an evolution of becoming more and more comfortable with myself, and just more gay, which is
More
fabulous.
gay.
It's only going to get gayer.
How much more can we take? Excellent. Well, I have always lived in Scotland. Yay! Cheers for that one. I grew up in a little village called Neilston, which is very near Glasgow. I grew up in a single parent household with my mum and my sister. My gran also helped out, so I had a very female heavy upbringing, if you will. No complaints. Very happy about that. I came out when I was 13, so I was quite young. And I'd always known I was gay, and I was never very good at hiding that, unfortunately. Well, or fortunately, I guess fortunately in this case. So yeah, I came out then, and then slowly but surely told my friends, and then just kind of stopped telling people, because then I kind of made it my mission to make it so obvious that I didn't have to tell anyone, which works, and now I really rarely have to do that. And then I did move to Edinburgh to do my undergraduate, and then I came back to Glasgow, and I've been here ever since. I am gay, I am queer, I use he, they pronouns. I love being a queer. It's the best thing that ever happened. Yeah, it's a great time. So that's that story. Wanted a little touch on maybe the name, or if you want to say something.
Yeah, I think, like, I just kind of want to say the reason why we kind of did that, like, 5 minutes about who we are is because we're both from very different backgrounds. And we both come to this point very differently. And I think that
that's a very good point.
That's the reason why we've kind of decided to do this.
Yeah.
Because we offer different perspectives.
Yes. Although we will note that we are male presenting white people. So
That's true.
We must remember that part. But yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like, we have fairly different experiences in general, but also getting to this point in our queer selves, it's been very different journeys. But thankfully, we agree on pretty much all the things, so we don't need to worry about us arguing about issues on here. Definitely important to have different perspectives. I think that is something that when we spoke about this before, it was something that we were like, oh, maybe this is a good idea. I was gonna touch on the name Oot. So I thought it was quite a fun, silly pun name that sort of referenced
Coming.
coming out, but also like you coming out, like
Exactly.
you coming out to play, going out, you know, just a little play on that. Yeah, I think
It's always nice to use some Scots
and some
words.
Scots, indeed. Needed a little bit of Scots in there. I think maybe we've covered everything for this one. Anything you want to add in?
No,
No?
not really. I mean, it's difficult, obviously, because we're not discussing a topic
Yeah,
or
yeah.
issues or a certain subject where we can kind of get more into the general
Yeah.
depths of everything. I think it was just more to kind of introduce us
Who
and
we are, what we're up to,
our voices
our voices.
to
yes.
your
to your ears.
exactly and kind of we'll go from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I look forward to whatever these next few months
Yes.
entail.
So we will obviously be posting this episode, but then we have all of our social medias, which are Out Scotland, I believe, across all of them. I think pretty much.
Yeah, sadly we're on X as well.
We are on X.
Hi Elon, if you're listening.
Hey. It's gonna get a whole lot gayer. Yeah, so we will be all over those as well. We've got our lovely website. Matt is now a website designer. Is that what they call
AI.
it? Probably, yeah.
But
We
yeah,
paid for it. We paid for
it
it.
was a stressful affair, but
yeah,
we got there.
Yeah, but we have that also. So yeah, we will be in your ears, on your screens, and maybe in your dreams. I don't know.
And making your world a bit gayer.
Okay, thank you so much for tuning in, having a little listen, and we will bid you adieu.
Bye bye.